The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 397 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. I'm going to call this one movement, as there has actually been player movement. Nothing in, definitely out, but the rumors are definitely there. Of course, we're also going to cover the loss to Vancouver, the postponed match against Austin, and preview our next match against the Colorado Rapids. Yes, it's a busy time. We're making up for those matches that kind of got pushed aside as we dealt with that other fun tournament that didn't have to be so fun. But yeah, we're on to it. Of course, we got the full squad with us. Araceli is here, Bam is here, and Tony is here as well. Of course, like me, he's preparing to go to the game soon, Wednesday. Yeah, it's on. Hello Kitty Madness is here, people. And we'll cover that too. Araceli, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I have to admit, I'm very jealous for Wednesday. The Hello Kitty, it just looks so cute.
I mean, Madhouse. So I'm betting there's gonna be like hands involved for sure. 10,000 Hello Kitties, 22,000 attendants. Sounds like it's gonna be a sellout by the demand that we're seeing. This is gonna get fun. I guess 6 p.m. the gates open and then madness begins. We'll cover more in a bit. Tony, how are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty well. It feels like I haven't been on here in a long time just because of the rainstorm and natural disasters that happened in Texas. So overall, good rest for the boys, but they're still in good training, hopefully, because there's a lot to talk about of how we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. It might have been, on our end, something that for us, probably good that they didn't play under the circumstances. Horrible situation in Texas, and our thoughts are all the care we can think of heading out that way to the amazing, crazy loss of life. And I guess they're not even through it yet. There's more storms, so we're just doing what we can on our end and definitely donate where you can. But yeah, it's brutal. That is why we missed our game over the weekend. But for the guys, honestly, I think they needed a couple days off. I know we're going to be right into it the midweek, but yeah, we're in a weird place, of course, with players leaving. So we'll see where we're at midweek. Bam, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, doing all right. As Tony said, it's been a long time for him. It's been even longer for me, missing the last episode that we did due to work commitments. But, I knew you boys had it held down and all that. Life's been going busy over here. We're in the middle of winter, so work's been picking up with all the localized flooding we got for the streets, but nowhere near as bad as going on in Texas at the moment. And as you said, our thoughts go out to everyone involved over there because that's a horrendous thing to go through.
Yeah, beyond scope, to be honest. So, again, we're here. I'm sure information will release as it goes for aid and all that, and we can definitely share that with you guys as well. That being said, yes, there was a lot of news for LAFC, even though there was no game, as of course Giroud departed and is now wearing the colors of his new side in France, looking very happy, to be honest. Said nice things about us on the way out. He played hard that last game, no doubt. Whatever it is, the fit wasn't there and the move was made. Kudos to everyone involved in that to get it done. I think all parties are actually pleased at the end of all of this to move on. He fulfilled his contract, and that was that. Of course, other faces left us too, as Marlon is gone as well. I think that one hurts us a bit more. Really, I mean, honestly, we're a little thin in that center back situation now. We're just that much thinner. I go to you, Bam, on this. What are your thoughts on Marlon just kind of walking away?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I thought that maybe we might have been able to convince him to stay, but obviously that wasn't meant to be. I thought that we could talk him into at least the end of the season because, as you said, centre back it is a bit tough, but it'll be interesting to see where he falls now.
Yeah, and in truth, he does have his options out there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the play time here was limited. There was no guarantee for play time here. There never is. And it seemed like Segura seemed to be the first choice at this point. So for a player like Marlon, he's not going to stick around if he's not getting more play time. It makes sense. But for us, yeah, it's a rough a rough roll of dice. That's for sure. Tony, I know you're going to miss him as well, right?
Yeah, he was a decent player. Again, it's just I understand like it's at the moment the club is in a very weird limbo, as we all know. We don't know who the next head coach is. We're just going out through the season, and it's just been a lot of changes with a lot of excuses that I don't understand. So Marlon chose for his career. Again, great player. He has a lot of options. Love him. Thank you for everything that he's done. But again, wish him the best.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's where it is. It's they decided to move on. They moved on. The other story, of course, is all the rumors. Because now the team has basically 2 designated player spots available.
Maybe 3.
You've heard the rumors about who might be coming in, who might be going out. I think the most bizarre one I heard was Balotelli. Oh God, no. That would be brutal. I don't need that circus. I don't think anybody else here wants to see what drama could come from that. We all remember that miss over in Carson. That was hilarious. But he's had so many things, ups and downs with his career. Of course, there's the Mueller saga at this point, soap opera, where is he in? Is he out? Are the numbers right? Hey, guess what? They have more budget. Let's throw more money at this. And then it sounds like it's going cold again. There was rumors of a meeting that was called off at the last second during the Club World Cup. So we don't know yet. The price sounds like it's increasing at this point. So who knows? That's a tough one. And is it a fit? We don't know. I think it is. But again, is he a 90-minute guy? Every week? No, definitely not. And is that what we're looking for? When you have 2 open designated player slots, yeah. Clearly, it sounds like he's going to be a designated player. Not going to be some cheaper deal. That's what it's going to be. And is that something worth it? I'll go back to you, Tony. Is it worth it if it's a designated player slot for Thomas Mueller?
No. I think it's just he's not. He is not the player that would designate the designated player's position. You know what I mean? He is still a good player. He would fit in very well in a role. If we can get him on a TAM deal, I would have been okay with it, like something under. But as a DP, we have the opportunity of falling back into that Giroud situation where was producing, comes over here, is not producing, and then it's the slot that we might be, again, losing because someone's not producing. Again, Mueller, great player, can produce, but we don't know what would happen because, unfortunately, Germans haven't had the best record coming to the MLS.
Not the brightest. Star there. It's been a mixed bag for German players, that's for sure. I would say this: he'd probably be the smartest German-based player to come into the league. Also, the most plucky player you'd get because he would fit any role you would put him in and work at that. And he would definitely take a leadership role and would take it for the team with the press. I mean, that is what he does. He's always willing to say what he has to say. That would work. Again, is it something worth spending that much money on? And I think that becomes a situation. What's the payoff here? Is it going to get us to where we need to go? That's the hardest thought about it. I'm sure league-wise, they would be over the stars, right? This would sell shirts, that's for sure. He's highly marketable here. I think that might be a big play on what's going on here. But from a football standpoint, short term, yeah, awesome. Long term, yeah, this sounds like a temp for sure. Bam, your thoughts?
To be honest, if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, I won't be too fast. I think that we can go out and get a better up and coming player and go to what we've always been, and that's a stepping stone for players to go to Europe. You know, as much as we want to get these big name players in the side, I'd rather get future big name players come through. And yes, it may mean that we won't win every trophy every time, but I think that as a whole will be a better way for us to go and to get more younger players coming through.
And to be honest, our track record with designated players so far has been not so great. Big picture, I think there's been two, maybe three that have truly paid off over all of our time in the league, and others, no, it's been rough. So, if it happens, I know he'll fit well. I know he'll fit well. For how long? Again, I think it's a short-term deal. And how much? I mean, that's wild for sure.
My big thing is look at the last big name European that we got. What did he do?
I don't want Giroud to taint Mueller. I just think that would be a horrible way of doing it because they're so different as players.
Yeah, but at the same time, no. While he was playing over there, he was good. Mueller's playing over there, he's good. They come here. Will he be good or will he be another Giroud? That's the thing. And you look at before like Bale, yes, he bailed us out in the final, but he really didn't do much either.
No.
So
big game guy. That's what he is.
Yeah. That's two. I don't want to say bad, but a bad and a good at one time type of player. Now we're looking at another one. It's like, where's he going to fall? Is he going to go worse than Giroud, or is he going to go back to the Bale or better than Bale? I'm just
right. We just roll the dice, man.
I've been the devil.
Yeah, no, it's the roll of the dice. You don't know with a player of his age what they're going to bring to the table, what their mindset is coming in. It's hard to tell, right? Giroud, we thought something, but he was just a terrible fit for the team. He wasn't going to be the guy we needed. We needed a mobile type striker, and he's a target guy, right? It just didn't work. It's like when we had Pistolero before that, same type of player, different levels clearly, but still, what do they put to the field? It was not a fit. It's kind of strange. Now you have Mueller come in, you play the same system. Where do you put him? That's the hard part. Where do you put him? Or do you move it around to fit him? And I just haven't seen this side willing to do it. And I think that's also the worry for me as well is, are they willing to make the changes to make it work? So there's that. Araceli, you want to add in on this, or we want to talk about some other rumors? Because I know Bouanga's also been rumored to be leaving.
Well, the only thoughts that I really have so far I agree with a lot of what you guys have already said, especially with like Tony hitting it on the head of, what this club is doing and what these players have provided for us. Obviously the Marlon news to me was more surprising than Giroud, but when it comes to recruiting more players, any rumors, I always take it as base value, as just a rumor until there's an actual signing in place. But moving forward, I would hope the club would go and search for young talent, whether that's here in the States or overseas, because as much as, I enjoyed Giroud or Bale or Chiellini personally, we knew, the type of players that they were, but I would like to see them go kind of on the younger side to have more longevity than just simply signing an already established player for 1 or 2 seasons. Now, do I see them going to get that kid from Barca? No, but hopefully similar caliber.
Yeah, and the other situation that we have to think about, are we that team anymore? Seems like since we won MLS Cup, that focus of being that challenger club, the one to build these new young players, to put that show on, it hasn't been there. The focus has been on the old star, right? Maybe Bale jaded us a bit because of what he did, but I don't think the big splash focus is on that up and coming guy. It's on the star. I think it's a set difference by the club and what their focus is, which is not what we were built on, right? But I still think that mindset's still sitting within the club right now. And it's hard for a lot of us to see it that way, but yeah, our club doesn't quite target that way anymore. Not right now. Doesn't look like they're going to either with the rumors, because I haven't heard any of the rumors about young talent coming this way. It's just not happening. I haven't heard any names except for these older legend types. Son was another name that came up, and I think that's already sounding like it isn't happening. But the rumor was there, and it wasn't enough sources to say it's happening. And then, of course, the coaching carousel and that rumor too. Bam, you know a bit more about the one manager rumored to go our way. Do you think there's any heat to that, man?
Look, as much as I would love to have him come join us, I've seen what he's done in a salary cap league here in Australia. He's done magnificent things. I watched him when he went to Japan, done magnificent things there. Although he went to one of the Ugly Sisters in Celtic, he did wonderful things there. Tottenham letting him go was an absolute, completely idiotic thing to do, but that's a Tottenham ownership for you there. I still think he's got a lot more to do in Europe. It would be a disservice for him to come to LAFC, let alone the MLS right now. It would be a massive disservice for him. He's got a lot more that he can do in Europe. So for me, I don't want to see him come to us now. Give it 10 more years, yes, but right now, I don't want to see him anywhere near the MLS or anywhere near CONCACAF.
I'm with you on this in terms of his trajectory. If you're leaving Europe to come down, you're leaving Europe. That means you're not going back. It's not a story of oh, I'm going to look the other way and go back. Your next destination after MLS is probably going to be back in Australia or maybe J League again, but it isn't going the other way. So if you're cutting it, you're cutting it at that point. And to be a coach where he was at as high as he was, this is massive where he was. I can't believe they let him go, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's a long shot. The focus.
Yeah, you look at it too is I don't think he'll ever coach Australia again after the way that that all ended. That was a lot of backstabbing by the media. But for me, it's if he goes to Germany, goes to Spain, there's a lot more European clubs that would thrive on a manager of his experience. And for me, as I said, give it 10 years and then might be able to talk him to come to MLS. But right now, for the next 10 years, I don't want to see him anywhere near the MLS.
The other thing, give it 2 weeks in league, in the Premier League, right? Give it 2 weeks. Someone's going to get sacked. It always works that way. Somebody gets dumped real quick. Well, who's the first guy they're going to call? And now his price can be way higher. He has no pressure to return anywhere yet. He's still technically getting paid from the other side, so he can just wait.
That being said, too, is if he was to come to MLS, like I'm doing the whole, he's turned around and said, "No, LAFC, that's where I'm going to come. That's where I'm going to go." I can almost guarantee one player to come with him.
I agree. Yeah, package deal. Yeah, it's a package
deal. Yeah. Son loves him like a father, so wherever he goes, we'll look for a transfer request for him to come through.
Yeah, I think it's a guarantee. It's and I don't think it's this year. I don't. I think it's a next year thing, especially with Son. I think he's next year. He's got more damage to do in Europe. There's no doubt about it. He's an amazing player. So again, we'll see what happens. Again, the only logical one logical, if you want to call it that, would be Mueller if it happens. But I haven't heard any other heat at all. It's been too quiet, to be honest. But we've been surprising people before being really quiet. So we'll see what happens. All right. Outside of that, of course, let's go back into the Vancouver match for a brief bit, because that was as much as it deserved. Our loss to Vancouver, of course. We lost 1-0 to a team and only gave up one shot on goal the whole freaking game. Outside of that, it was us just being very inefficient. Lineup for that match, of course, ride or die was Giroud, right? He came in center forward, started off. Dilrosun, Buanga were the wingers for the match. Igor Jesus and Tillman and Amaya this time were the midfield. Segura, Long, Palencia, and Smoilikov were your back line, and Ochoa got the nod for this match as our backup finally gets a minute, finally gets his chance to play in this match. And he's kind of overdue for that moment. So this one I think made some sense. That's for sure. And yes, there was a discussion of injury. So that was that. The other side, of course, Vancouver, they're missing some people. Let's be real. Takoko was in goal, Veselinovic and Blackman were your center backs. Laborda and Johnson were the outside backs with Bodwall, Kubas, and Vite holding it down in midfield. Rios up top, Ocampo and Savi. Again, not their full A squad either. After getting humbled, let's be honest, by San Diego. It was some revenge on the minds of some here, but we know Vancouver where they're at so far this year. Now, the game itself, beyond frustrating. I'll throw it to you, Tony, with the low lights because there weren't a lot of highlights outside of us kind of dominating play. That was about all we got, right?
Keyword dominating. If for people on the pod like listening to it, I'm air quoting it because it just wasn't inspiring. It was very lackluster. We were there. It showed like Giroud, was the only one putting in an effort, which was surprising. And it's also, or was this his whole tender here? Again, thank you for everything. We appreciate everything you've done. Good luck on your next chapter. But honestly, what the low light of the match, besides we'll get into tactics just to just have a conversation about this game, is in the 20th minute, Sabi with a great goal, like, you know what I mean? Great control, kind of mess up on the defense, but at the end of the day, he had to control that ball with a nice flick up and one timer in, gets a pass Ochoa, and at the end of the day, it's just we couldn't create anything, you know what I mean? And this just goes to show you of like we're having conversations with a lot of people, everyone's blaming the defense, but how can you the defense is decent. Well, I'm gonna just say that right now. Our defense is decent with what we have, and there were some very, very good opportunities and like highlights from our defense, especially a player I'll mention later when we have the discussion about it. But when we don't have a midfield that can connect a pass, that can control the middle part of the field, the pressure on the defense eventually cracks and eventually the goal goes in, and you saw it. Because again, the scoreboard says 1-0. So you're like thinking, oh, it was a very hard fought match. It was a lackluster performance of we couldn't do anything.
Yeah, we had 62% possession, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we allowed one shot on goal against. That's the truth of it. So, yeah, go from that. Not much else to add. You guys have anything else want to add to it?
No, with the way the game went, I wish we did what I said to you guys in the group chat. I was ready to kick it off, boot it out, sub Giroud off, and I reckon it would have been the same result regardless.
There's nothing in this match at all. It was brutal. All right, moving on from that, of course, we had the Austin match that got canceled, bringing up the speed for LAFC. Now, of course, LAFC 2 did feature as well over the weekend. They actually got a decent result, so I'm going to throw it over to you, Araceli, on all things LAFC 2.
Well, LAFC 2 actually fell to Austin 4-1, unfortunately, but there was a bright moment in the match in the 54th minute when DeCarlo Guerra converted the penalty that LAFC 2 was awarded to cut the deficit in half for his 5th goal of the season. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough because after that, Austin just came after them, essentially. So, like I said, they fell 4-1. But next up, LAFC 2 will host Portland this Sunday at Titan Stadium. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. The match will be streamed on MLSnextpro.com. And like
There we
always,
go.
I always encourage everyone to go to the game if you're able to, but if not, it's online.
Yeah, now with Marlon departing, there is a certain LAFC2 player right now that's probably going to get a call up, right? We're thinking.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets a call up very soon.
Yeah, I think that's where the next replacement is because he's healthy now. So there you go. All right. So club and community news. I'm going to actually, there are some comments, just a couple. So I'm going to throw those out to you guys as well. All right. Let's see here. Go to the community first. Oh, yes. The Giroud comments. That was funny. Hi, friends. Do you miss me yet? That's all we got for tonight. Yeah, not a lot of comments. You guys want to throw some out there, please do. We love the comments from y'all. So keep it going. All right. So on to community news. Tony, what have you got? I know a lot of community news related to the match coming up, but what have you got for us today?
Coming up soon is the the kickball tournament. I was like, why do I want to say futsal? But kickball tournament coming up for the annual Mo foot kickball tournament. This year they're donating most of the proceeds with a very interesting raffle. 75-inch screen TV, a jersey, and a Hello Kitty, and I forgot what the other one is, but those are the two most prominent ones that I know most people want because of when I get to the next thing I want to talk about. But it's coming up, I believe, on July 27th. I will have the exact date, but it's coming up, and sign up, I believe, is $100, maybe a little bit more. I think signups are still available. I'll see. Again, there's been a lot of more community outside of LAFC that's been more important. So as a lot of things have fallen to the wayside. So again, apologies for that, but we know what's going on. We'll talk about it more in our final say. We always do because it's important to us because we are an LA-based podcast and we talk about what's relevant in our city. And now of course, community news, which unfortunately is why most people are coming to the game and more excited about the game, is Hello Kitty Night. First 10,000 people get a plush Hello Kitty in New Jersey, like kind of a retro of it with a soccer ball connected to a gold bow. And there will be some little like popcorn buckets and cups that you could buy and collect if you would like. And I believe at 5:30 there will be a meet and greet with Hello Kitty herself. So
our new designated player.
Yes, our new designated player. Pretty much. Again, this is like Colorado is going to be an interesting game, but from the lackluster performance of our players and the team and the pretty much lost in the wood mentality that we have right now, I know for Wednesday game, it's very easy to get a ticket. This one, unfortunately, everybody and their mom wants to get a ticket for this one.
Yeah, I've had people reaching out. Are you going to use all your tickets this week?
Mm-hmm.
That's rare on a Wednesday night. Again, bigger draw than Giroud. I said it. I'll say it again. Yeah, Hello Kitty. We haven't had one for a while. This is only the second time we've had a Hello Kitty night where we had the giveaway. So, yeah, this should be fun, everybody. Elbows up. Here we go again. Just be safe out there, please. Don't be too crazy with it. And get there really early if you can. Good luck with that. All right, moving on to the Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute. Finally, we have an easy one, right, Bam? We're gonna go with Black Sabbath, of course. How could you not? As Ozzy and Black Sabbath played their final sets. Pretty amazing for those who got to watch it, or at least seen the clips everywhere. It's epic, man. Again, even Steven Tyler going out there, who's also retired, and giving his all. Again, those who came did their absolute best for Ozzy and the boys. Again, very, very amazing from the little bits that I've seen. So for this one, 1970 album, Paranoid. It's got to be with War Pigs. Paranoid, of course. Iron Man. Yeah. Amazing stuff. Bam, you don't disagree, right? This was the proper one?
Oh, definitely. For all that's happened, like with the final concert and all that. And for someone who, through the generations, has, for as long as I know, there's always been Black Sabbath and that kind of stuff. As long as it's now up to us to pass on to our kids what Black Sabbath did, a lot of their music and all that kind of stuff, because their music was undeniably amazing. And just, you look at a lot of people that played on the weekend just couldn't thank Black Sabbath enough for being the gateway for a lot of them to get into music and all that kind of stuff. So that album's a magnificent album, as long as with all the albums. But yeah, it had to be that album this weekend.
Yeah. And again, think of 1970 and the music around that era, and for Black Sabbath to deliver what they delivered. No fear, right? I mean, ultimately, not giving a crap, man. Letting it out there, getting labeled everything in the book did not matter, man. The art was the number one here. So yeah, enjoy it for sure. Again, Ozzy's retiring, his health is declining, but still was able to pull off a 4-song set. Not able to walk, but man, gave every possible bit of energy that he had into those last 4 songs. So yeah, amazing career, and will still influence for decades to come. That's for sure. So that is our Black and Gold Vinyl Club minute. On to the next match. I know it's Wednesday already. Hello Kitty night, but bigger thing is, how do we handle Mihailovic night is kind of where we're at as we play the Colorado Rapids, as the man burns us every time we play them. But yeah, guess what? The good news is, if you want to call it that, we're level on points, everybody. We have the exact same setup. We've got a 7-5-5 record. They've got a 7-5-9 record. Yes, they've played a lot more games because we were in a tournament, remember? But their they have 1 win in their last 5 games, and that was against Carson, so that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's been tough. They even lost to Sporting Kansas City on July 4th. Sorry, Araceli, I just had to throw that out there. Again, good on Sporting for getting the win. But yeah, that was a home game for Colorado. So that just drives the nail in even more. They're struggling. That is for sure. Now, in terms of that score, of course, they lost 2-1 to Kansas City. They didn't score until the 89th minute on a penalty kick, so you could see how that was running. It hasn't gone so well recently. Now, in terms of the roster, in terms of how they're going to approach the game, predictable. We kind of know what they're going to deliver, right? They play the 4-2-3-1. It's going to be careful. They're going to look on counterattacks. It's going to get physical. They're going to look for dead ball situations. That's where they can burn us. They've done it before. Mihailovic is going to be that guy, right? The middle of the spoke right there. But he does come up as well and get into messy situations. Now, in goal, I think last game they had Hansen, Maxo, Awazim were their center backs. Rosenberry and Travis were their outside backs. Atencio and Ronan were their defensive midfielders, with Mihailovic, as I said, that main piece. Harris and Cu Di Pietro were their outside midfielders, and Navarro was the target man. It looks like in that game also Yapi got some minutes, Stuart Barnes, and then Cole Bassett, of course, found his way in. Cole Bassett could start this game. We know that could happen as well. But yeah, they're looking for a turnaround. We're looking for a turnaround. Talk about a collision course as they meet us on Wednesday nights. Araceli, you've seen a bit of them as well. All is not exactly well in Colorado, is it?
No, this hasn't been their season at all, which is a little reflective to how LAFC has been performing too. But I mean, overall, it's like with any other team that doesn't seem to be faring well. We can, I mean, LAFC can't underestimate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tend to play to the level of our opponents recently. So, and being wasteful. This time you can't be wasteful. You've got to take care of business. Bam, your concerns for this match going in. I know the one name always stands out, but they do have other weapons as well, right?
Oh, definitely. And you look at 2, they will also be getting back. Who was it? They will also be getting back. I just had that before. Reggie Cannon because he was suspended last game due to yellow card, so he'll be back this game. To look at it, they've only really got 2 players that will be out, which is Zach Steffen and Sam Vines. They're the only 2 that's been listed last game as being out. And looking at it, one's a knee, one's a groin, so that will be a while before they're back.
Yeah.
So for me, like, we just got to play our game. Don't get sucked into the way they play. Play our game. Bring them to us to play our game.
Yeah, don't give anything away. We tend to do that against this team. Give the cheap stuff up, and then they burn us. We know who stands out again. Mihailovic, 8 goals, 3 assists so far this year. Yeah, right? But then it drops off. I mean, Navarro's there too, 7 goals so far. But down after that, it's Yapi with 3, Harris with 3. Yeah, we know which 2 to watch out for. In terms of the assist, it's kind of spread, but nobody has more than 3. And Mihailovic happens to be that guy. So, yeah, again, not going to be the most creative setup for these guys. They're going to look for the counters. They look for the simple stuff. They will simplify the game against us. We have to be smart about that and not give it away. There it is. All right, moving on to Tony. Your thoughts on this match? What do we need from our boys? Because that's going to be more of the story is what are we going to show up with in this match? And what do you think Dolo's looking at for this one?
I don't know what Dole's looking at for anything. Again, I feel like he's been checked out. I appreciate everything he's done for us, but it just doesn't seem like he's all there, and he's trying to do something with a team that most likely might not be behind him. But what I'm looking for the team is just an identity, to be honest, because we don't have one. It's like going back to like Bam's comments is like I understand like we need to play our game, but at this moment, what is our game? What are we trying to do? Because it's like we have no midfield. We have a striker, a winger who is just on an island and tries to create everything himself, not because he wants to, not because he's the only one, but that's also the other problem. The highlight is Ordaz up there. Martinez is hot and cold depending on where his mental is at, and then our defender from Ukraine is honestly one of the bright spots that I've been liking from the last game. So I just want an identity moving forward, like find an identity and move forward with this.
Yeah, we lack leadership at the end of the day. And it's not talking just on the field. It's off the field too. You don't really see the direction, the plan. The plan is the same tired one, the standard one, right? But you don't see anything else more creative. Where it's game to game and you're matching your opponent, or at least finding that way. No, we just do our thing. And if it works, it works. It's just overly simplified, and not in a good way. And then you look at Bouanga and what he's doing. As much as we love Bouanga, you can kind of get the feeling that he is really trying to be a one-man army at this point for all the wrong reasons. He's been doing it a lot, but at a huge expense, right? Because who's going to make the runs if they don't think the pass is going to come in, right? Other things shut down when you have that kind of a breakdown. To me, when I look at Ibobise, there's runs you would think he would make, and instead he's making runs looking for rebounds because he knows that the pass isn't coming. So you can already see adjustments from certain players. Martinez, as much as, the talent is there, the spark is there, that decision-making in the final third has been really suspect. And so, again, is that age? Yeah, probably. But again, shanking the ball from 4 yards out doesn't help. So that's got to get better. Ordaz, I know he's going to bring it. He always does. That's the other guy that I can trust is going to show up for the game, right? Midfield situation, again, there's a gap there. There's a huge gap in the midfield. If Jesus, we don't know which Jesus is going to show up. Right. Sometimes you get the world beater that gives you the long pass, and other times it's a guy that's struggling with cards and discipline. So consistency is going to be key here, and who gets in the lineup, that's going to be important. I would honestly think you're going to go with the veterans in this case, but it could be different. Bam, your thoughts? I'm going to start with the midfield because to me, the midfield has been failing us the most recently. Who's going to start in this match? Who's the 3 going out there?
So the midfield, Jesus, he's been locking it down. although, as you said, the midfield's been iffy quite a lot. He's just been locking down. Tillman, as you said, we're going to go with the experience and all that, Tillman, all that kind of stuff. For a third midfield, I want to say give Amaya another crack, but I don't think we'll do that. I think we'll go with number 8.
I think number 8 will probably be in there as well. I agree with you, but I do think he has that tendency to lead a bit more than Amaya does. He also isn't afraid to shoot from distance, and that's something we do need. So that could be the key. I'll go to you, Tony, on that front line. We know it's going to be Bouanga. Who's your other 2 for this match?
Probably I would go Ibobasi and Ordaz, because it's just I love Martinez. I love everything he does. It's just I don't think he's earned the consistency starting spot on it. If that makes sense. Like, great player, great potential. We've seen it multiple times. Like, when he's hot, when he's good, it's just, oh my God, we have something here. But the inconsistency, I understand you have to get the momentum for the player, but it's more of a mental game with him right now.
Yeah. Big picture stuff. That's for sure. And then with Ibobase, let's be real. If he plays more, he plays better. Every time we've seen it from him. If he gets more minutes, he just gets better every game. If you sit him, he gets rusty. That's just how he runs. Or does the same thing. He had the injury. He came back. He's back now. He needs minutes. He just needs to, because these are the guys we're with, right? The rumors are slight right now. So you got to think, if it doesn't work out, these are your guys. That's just how it runs. Backline's another story. I think it's now settled. Segura, Long. Those are the choices. What are you going to put a kid in there? That's our choices right now. It's thin. If we have an injury back there, I'm super worried. But that's what we've got. Now comes the outside back situation. Araceli, I come to you. Who are your outside backs for this match?
Well, I'm actually looking at the past match because I'll be honest, I feel like I'm still kind of playing catch up in a sense. But I see that they have Palencia and Smolikov.
Smolikov, yeah.
Yep.
Smolikov. Palencia, I do see. Smolikov, I don't know. I kind of feel like he would come in the second half, but I could be wrong.
I don't think you are. I think Hollingshead would have got the start against Austin. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So he's due. He's due. I think that would make the sense. And that's the other guy that's been consistent for us all year. He shows up every freaking game. Hollingshead is there. He's always there. He's ever present. Same with Palencia, ever present. They do the work. We can count on those guys. There's a few we can count on. Now, the goalkeeping situation. If Lloris is healthy, Lloris starts. There's no question about that. But the question is he fully fit and ready to go? Maybe getting, again, a few extra days off kind of sets it. Bam, do you think Lloris is coming back for this one?
No, everything I've been seeing, it's not till late July.
Oof, okay. So that's Ochoa then, right?
Ochoa, yeah. And same with Chanot, he's mid-July. So that's 2 months. What I wouldn't mind seeing, and just because I think this might be a time to do it and you can make the changes on the run, I would, for my outside backs, keep Smolikov, give Palencia a little break, and put Hollingshead on that side.
His old position.
Yeah. I can see how that runs, because you can do a halftime change and all that kind of stuff. And with us being so thin at centre back too, if one of our centre backs, Segura Long, does come up with a little injury, I reckon Hollingshead's that perfect spot he can play centre back too, because he can play left back and right back. So he could be able to fit in there if we need him to.
True. And the versatility of that player, again, he shows it every week. So good thinking on that as well. That could be what we see. Got to keep people healthy. Got to rotate. Man, we need some more reinforcements, don't we? It's really showing now. So there is it. There's the setup. I think our concerns are shared on this one. I see a couple comments from the faithful. Let's see where you guys are at.
Before we get to the comments too,
yes, go for it.
I did see that we currently have Martinez and Palencia on yellow card. They get one more, they're off for a game.
Ah, okay. And we got a match on the weekend coming up. So
yeah,
quick succession. So,
yeah. So the question is, with Palencia, do you want him for the Dallas game?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe the way this team operates, they don't rest people for cards. I just historically have not seen us rest people for cards. We take some crazy risks at times. Palencia is a guaranteed yellow. It's just, do you want him for this one or do you want him for the next one?
Yeah. Do you want him for the Dallas game or do you want him for Minnesota away?
Yeah. Where do you sit on that front? Because he's gonna get a yellow card. I don't see any other way with it. It's just his game. He's not gonna change the way he plays. It's
which we don't want him to change the way he plays.
No, not at all. Like,
it all comes down to us as a fan. Looking at the fact that it's Dallas then Minnesota, it's Dallas at home. He copied a yellow card this one, missing Dallas at home. I'm okay with that because Minnesota away is going to be a big game. Tony, what do you think?
We historically stink in Dallas, so
yeah, we do. But it's like but I'm thinking with Smolikov, yeah, I think I said it right. Smolikov, thank you. I want to say check, but it's cough. He was honestly the bright spot of last game. That was what I wanted to bring up. Is he was the bright spot. He was making the runs and doing great things of what we needed a wingback to do. So it's just he has great potential and nothing to take back from Hollingshead, but Hollingshead is still a great player and we need him as well. So our wings for once is decently okay. Mm-hmm. So either or, it'll be fine. I'd rather get Palencia get the yellow card in this game. If he gets it, he gets it. So he can just reset it and move forward with it. But again, you never. He's like I said, he's a walk-in yellow card, which is a good and a bad thing as a defender.
No, he just takes one for the team every week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He takes the yellow card for the sake of everybody else. He'll do the professional foul. He becomes a pest when he needs to be a pest, but that comes with the territory. You're going to pick up a card, and that's okay. Honestly, I'm willing to have him sit out every once in a while for accumulation because we know what he's doing. It's not like he's wasting these cards. There's a purpose behind it, so fine with it. But yeah, Smolikov, he's grown throughout the season so far. Like every game we see him and he gets more minutes, he's getting better. You know, he's getting the fit. So yeah, a little bit of a project player, but that project's starting to pay off. So good on him. All right, so there we go. Let's get those last comments there. Let's see. Dave Gomez back in the mix. He says it's Friday. Bam, Araceli are back. Lads are gonna win. There you go. Then you also have we need a consistent midfield designated player. We've needed the Cam forever, or at least someone with creativity in the midfield that we've never, ever, ever received. I don't know why. It just hasn't happened. It's weird. It's weird. And Carlos C, I'm with Tony. I'm so done with Dolo. I'll say this right now. When we saw the rumors of Razov taking over in an interim role and Dolo moving on to go to Europe because that's where we know he's going, it made sense when that rumor first kicked because August is that time in Germany, right? Where you should be over there already if you're working over there. They're already got the preseason matches started up. They're already tuning up. Especially if it's going to be maybe 2, right? Bundesliga 2 or something like that. But it makes sense if it's the timing, you know. But I'm with you guys. I feel it. He's got one foot out the door. The team knows it. The players know it. I would think that he was going to move on already. I thought he'd be gone already by choice. Not forced out, but just by choice. Like, okay, cool. We're moving on. And it would have probably been better for the guys. Just so you can just move on, new chapter. Get with it. And if it's Razov, that's the choice. I think he's got a more fiery personality, more of a stand and deliver type of guy who will go to the press conference and tell you exactly what was wrong and not think twice about that, and will demand from his players what he's demanded from himself as a player in his career. And those who know him know the intensity of him as a player. You would just get that on the training field and in leadership. So it would be fine if that happened, and then you could focus on what you're going to do next. It didn't happen. We again have this limbo situation, and it's not paying off. Energy's wrong. Bam, am I wrong in this? The energy seems off from the side right now.
100%. You're looking at how the team's playing on the field and all that. You know your coach is going, why are you listening to him too much? It's at this stage, put Razakov in, see what he does. Just even if Dollar doesn't leave the country, let him step in the box and just sit back, relax, enjoy time with his family. There's no need for him to be on the sidelines.
Yeah, and again, we're thankful for all that he's done for the club, but you just feel like you're in limbo now. So there's that. All right, I think there's a couple more comments that pop. Carlos C. He said, "Can you imagine if Evander was our DP midfielder? Love that guy. We need a mid like that. Again, creativity. Creativity is key. We need it. Yep." And then he also says he's good with Razov as our interim to finish out the season. So there you go. There you go. Good stuff, guys. Thank you for the comments tonight. On that note, you know what we do next as we get ready to close out another one and get ready for that midweek Hello Kitty madness match. I know, such a friendly face, Hello Kitty, but man, you'll see the Sharks will be out there, that's for sure. And yeah, that is that. So on that note, of course, comes our final comments. I'm going to shake this one up a bit, and Bam is going to go with his final thoughts of the day, sir.
Final thoughts of the day for everyone going to the game. Don't be a douchebag. Don't be an asshole. Let the kids get them first. Kids always comes first. You know that. Don't be pushing over kids. Don't be pushing over old people, all that kind of stuff. Just be a good human being. That's all we ask. If you see a kid getting trampled and all that, whoever's trampling them, push them off. Give the kids room to go stand up. Protect the kids. Protect your people around you at all times too. We all know how people get with this kind of stuff. Again, with all the news that I've been seeing happening in LA and through Texas and all that kind of stuff too, mental health for people is taking a hit. You know, all the ICE raids, all that kind of stuff. There are services out there. As I always say, the Department of Mental Health of LA County has a helpline. Use it. It is 800-854-7771. Or you can call, text, and chat with 988. They're services for you to use. Use them. I always say conversations can change and save a life. Reach out, have conversations with people, and be a good person.
Thank you, sir, for that. And yeah, agreed. Tony.
Final say is just be careful out there. We're living in, as we all know, we're living in crazy times. It's not safe to just sometimes walk around. It's kind of fear mongering at the moment. I don't know. There's words can't express how I feel. Emotions do. Anger, sadness, just confusion is the best way to say it. But it's also important to, with BAMs leading up, is just have conversations and to understand certain things, because I feel like that's what's been lost in the past couple months, is just conversations of just anything. Is just not hearing anything. It's just we see, we do, but there's no conversations, act, and then other stuff happens, and it just gets crazy, because on both sides, it's just fact checking is not a thing. I've seen it on our side, I've seen it on their side, and it's just it's just crazy. So just have conversations, respect fellow human beings is the best way to say it moving forward. The craziness with Hello Kitty, everyone already knows how these giveaways go, especially with bobbleheads. Just be safe. Keep your eyes out on your Hello Kitty. Just because you have it doesn't mean it will be snatched out from under you.
That's happened.
But
Yep.
Yep, that's happened. We've seen that happen before. So just be safe out there. If you're trying to get there, get early, best you can. It's also LA, so traffic on a Wednesday night is brutal. But just my final word will probably be just respect your fellow human being. You know what I mean? No matter what they are, at the end of the day, we have to live together and outlive whatever we're going through and make it a better place.
Well said, sir. Well said. Do not lose hope in all of this. All right. And do not check out. That's the last thing you want to do at this stage. Araceli, your final thoughts?
Final thoughts for me. I'll start with the match first. Like how we've always said this entire season with any home game, just stay safe. Don't be an idiot. Protect each other. Protect the kids. Especially now in these times more than ever. Especially watch out for each other, regardless if it's Hello Kitty or night or not. But with that added element, it will amplify emotions, definitely. So again, watch out for each other. Always have a plan B, whether that's a family member, Uber, whatever the case might be. On a broader spectrum of what's happening nationwide, I'm not going to go too deep into it for obvious reasons, but kind of echoing on what Tony and Bam has already mentioned, I've been hearing the news as well as what's been happening in LA, Chicago, Texas, all parts of this country. And it can get you can feel defeated at the end, of course, but like Tony said, don't lose hope, have those conversations, check in with your loved ones and with your friends, and just make sure that you're still there for each other, regardless of what's going on.
Exactly. Thank you, Araceli, for that. That leaves me and my comments. And again, there's just so much to be sad about, right? So much to get depressed about it. But at the end of the day, don't let them get you down. I think that at the end of the day is where you need to be at. You have to look at each other. You have to look at humanity and value humanity first before everything else. Value your fellow human beings out there. Help those who are down. That's key. Be respectful where you can be respectful. Stand up for what you believe in at the end of it. For me, again, seeing all the madness, you can't check out. I know the information floods the zone. Don't let it overwhelm you. Keep your heads, keep your wits, and again, check in on those who you love. At the end of the day, it's what you got to do. You got to check in. You got to help each other out in these weird, jacked up times, man. That's going to be the key for all of us. And staying golden, that's it right there. Protect your community, call it out when you see it, but do not be silent. That's not going to help you here. That's the key. All right. On that note, final word of the day. Pam?
Stay golden.
Tony?
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
Araceli?
Stay golden.
And from me to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.